Well, friends, here we are again. Thank you for joining us. I'm with my friend Ryan Cake. We had some epic travels recently. We got to go travel Oregon, Northern California, meeting a bunch of organic, regenerative, all of the above type growers, and it was a great experience. And we kind of did a summary about that already. And here we are. The snow's on the ground, and it's New Year's 2025. And perhaps you're sitting there wondering what you should do, make some changes in your dietary functions or activities, or maybe you want to make some changes in just kind of more intentionality or purpose in the way that you go about your shopping. And so I wanted to talk with you, Ryan. It was such a life-affirming experience to get to meet some of these people, to meet David, to meet John, and Drew, and it was unlike any visit to any other farm I've ever had. I mean, plenty of nice people,
Sure. Yep.
but it was just there was just a connection there. And so we also got to go to a bunch of different farmers markets and see a bunch of different growers of that sort. So what do you think we should do? Somebody like me up here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't have farmers markets year round because of the weather. How does one kick off a year saying, I want to be more intentional about where my food is coming from? I want to be more connected to the dirt, to the earth, to the farmer. Where do I start?
Yeah, so in a way, we did this start, right? Just reiterating what you were saying, very life affirming. The thing about a lot of these smaller, more local focused growers is you really get into folks that understand that they're feeding people, right? And wanting those connections. And so, yes, the bottom line and the economics matter. You gotta make money. You gotta make money as a farm, but they're always having that pushback of how do we feed our community, but still make that make the economics work. Right?
It should be a sacrifice, feed the community or feed my family.
Right. Yeah. So in every decision making, and that really came across in a lot of the conversations that we had. So much of that decision making is trying to find that balance, right? And so like I said, we did the work in the sense of we got to know all these farms, got to see what they're about. They may be leaving their farm. They may not have a farmer's market that continues throughout the winter time, but most of these growers have some sort of food going on, whether that's root storage crops or, potato storage crops, or perhaps that they have, a greenhouse set up where they can continue to do some lettuce greens throughout the winter times, still getting enough sunlight, enough warmth, in those greenhouse operations to be able to kind of continue. So, getting to know them and asking, once the farmers markets are done, where do you continue to go to with some of your produce? Do you have those local restaurant relationships, supporting them through that, through those venues? Do they have a winter CSA model, which is a community supported agricultural model? Is that something that you can help support each other both ways on? And then also, some of them will, get even closer and, maybe just have a farm stand at their farm, planning that into your weekly schedule of instead of going to the farmer's market, maybe I visit the farm more regularly, right?
My wife and we got to go to dinner at a local farm-to-table restaurant, and it was nice to see that they support local farmers and stuff, and it piqued my interest. And you're right, this whole CSA thing, community supported agriculture, did I get that? Yeah. There's all kinds of different models. There's subscription models where they can send you a box and you go pick it up at a certain location. There's ways that some of them you can order and they can ship it to you. So you got to kind of do some research as to what it is, but it wouldn't be too hard for anyone to just jump online and say, CSA in my area, and you'll probably find something. And it'll probably be something like you said that's storable, like roots, or something that's more local or more small scale that is seasonal. But there's a good opportunity to do that. And I guess my thought is, if you look at our pattern, we probably go to one of the big retailers a week at least, if not several. Sometimes we go to the club store once a week, and then we go to the local grocery store, and we get our veggies and we get our food there. But when there's the opportunity to vote with our dollars, I think it helps the retailers too to know, hey, if you want to get our dollars, you need to have this kind of a focus in mind. And so it's not a one or the other, but it's kind of how do you complement both? And so you're a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, we all continue to have a regular grocery store that we're going to use and patron to on a weekly basis, right? And getting to know the farms in your area, you can figure out how to support them and what's in season with them. You were saying with the local restaurant you went to, right? So they might have a beet or a rutabaga or a parsnip dish on their menu, and so you go for that versus the dish of like imported asparagus from 4,000-5,000 miles away, right? So like you said, voting with your dollars, and that translates throughout. So with the big box store, maybe starting to focus more of your purchases on the center and getting the grocery items covered, but then focusing those dollars elsewhere with the CSA model, with the local restaurant, or maybe just having that conversation with your local produce manager and being like, hey, these are the things I'm really looking for, and if you can support me, I'm gonna be shopping here.
You just said that there's three things that jump out at you. Okay, number one, the best way that we can support a farmer and the best way that they're going to make the most bang for buck is buying directly from them.
That's as much as possible, right?
Yeah. Probably the second best is going to restaurants that serve their stuff, because restaurants tend to pay pretty well for a product. They just don't consume a lot of volume. Right? And then the third way is, go to your grocery store. Talk to your produce clerk. I think half the time, I feel intimidated talking to a produce clerk sometimes, but they're nice people for the most part, and they enjoy what they do. Just recently, I saw a guy that I had never seen before at our local Fred Meyer, which is a Kroger banner. And I hadn't seen him, and I said, hey, what's your name? And he'd been doing that for 2 years, but he was working like really late at night, so I hadn't seen him before. And now the last few times I've gone, I've seen him, and we've struck up a conversation, a relationship. And hey, what's new? What's interesting? How do you like the new layout? Those kinds of conversations. And I was pleasantly, I'm not surprised, but I was happy to see him. There was a kid that was literally stuffing bell peppers into this box, like shoving them into this box. And he's like, no, that's not how you handle produce, Yeah. He was tucking it in like he was closing an underwear drawer or something.
Sure, yeah.
But those folks, that's what they do for a living. They care a lot about what they do. They want to make sure that it displays well, and they want to keep their jobs, right? They want but so if you think in kind of those three terms, how can I buy the most direct? Yes, that's great. How can I support restaurants that are buying local? Obviously, transnational, national chains are less likely to support local, and but these restaurants that are farm to table, that do this kind of stuff, they really do support local businesses, local growers, and they spread it out. And then, of course, like I said, just getting to know your produce manager. I think I think those three things would be very helpful for the grower and very helpful for you as a consumer. What do we have to look forward to in the next coming months here, as far as the winter winds down? People are already starting to prep for spring and stuff. What items do you think we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so as mentioned, we're very much in the root time of the year. Lots of potatoes and sweet potatoes just here locally. Might still be seeing some Brussels sprouts and some stuff like that. Some hardier winter veg, but springtime is really beautiful. Throughout the states here, and it's all about a progression, and it just starts to come alive here slowly. So you start to see the baby greens, like arugula and stuff like that in particular, and then the radishes start to mature and come around, and asparagus is a great springtime vegetable. That's a great indicator of the seasons to come here. So those are my go-tos to indicate spring is coming, and it really helps bring that life affirming energy into the diet.
As you know, I have a produce addiction, and it seems like this time of year we always, just like you said, we go down to the rutabagas and the turnips and the parsnips, and roasted a bunch. I probably roasted enough to feed an army, because I go out, well, one's not enough. We really need to buy 3 or 4, and 3 or 4 times 12 items all of a sudden turns into a large dinner. But folks, you got to try it. If you haven't seen it before, I might post a picture here of some of the veggies that we roasted in the past. Definitely do. And usually what happens is I get all excited and I start making it, and then about the time that I throw it in the oven, I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to take a picture. But anyway, folks, just encourage you to always not just think about your bottom line, but also to be thinking about all of the other families that are in that process. What started with the farmer all the way through to how that produce gets to you. And the more that you can support the grower, the better off you are in the long term. The more growers we have, the more product we have, the more alive they are, then the better that we are at being able to have what we need, and in a consistent way. So, anything else we need to add?
No, I think you put you put a good wrap on it, and I think the term that I would like to just convey too is, this is about food security. Having a more diverse collection of local and regional growers is just going to really help not only maintain our physical health, but our economic health as states and as a nation too. So
our personal health, soil health, the economic health of the country, it's good for everybody. So folks, thanks for joining us. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we're still on TikTok until they shut it down, but we'll be there too. Have a great day.